Today I'm going to be playing a Roblox game called Solar System by Scale. So, this is the first time I've played this game. For starting the information, let's look at this. Here's the sign says, "Welcome to the scale of the solar system." If you double jump, you can fly very fast, and you can stop flying by double tapping space or the jump button on mobile. Enjoy playing! Disclaimer: if you don't know what some of the terms are in the game, either try to figure it out yourself or look it up. Also, all distances of objects will be their semi-major axis, unless specifically said not to be. And here we have handy dandy speed station. Using this is recommended if you want to get anywhere. So this is the speed. By speed 16 is the normal speed, all the way to 2,500. So let's start off with the sun, the first object from our solar system. The sun is the largest object in the solar system and the first one you should see. You have a long way to go. Yeah, we know that. I already know that. If you are wondering why this is here, textures stop the sun from glowing after a few hundred studs. So this is here for a visual of how big the sun looks from whatever object you want. So the sun is about 1.4 million kilometers from the solar system. So it's the first object can you see. Oh, and by the way, if I double jump, you can fly really fast. Wait, how can I? Oh, yes, the jump button. Oh, yeah. Let's do 500 speed. Yeah, like this also. Oh, there's another sign. This, if you are wondering, is the edge of the sun's atmosphere, which is called the corona. It ends 8 million kilometers above the solar surface. Yeah, let's go to the next object, which is, yeah, this is the sun's atmosphere right there. Is Mercury, which is a very small planet. And the information says you might not be able to see Mercury at this scale, but it is the smallest planet in the solar system, so you should be able to see the other planets. The journey has still just begun. Yeah, our next object will be here. Oh, I'm going too fast. Is Venus, another small planet. And okay, Venus is still kind of hard to see, but you should be able to see it at least. This is the second planet from the sun and the hottest in the solar system. Apophis. What? We can't see it. Apophis is one of the several near-Earth objects and the closest major one to the sun. Several years ago, there were fears that Apophis might collide with Earth in either 2029 or 2036 and possibly destroying a city, but those fears were invalidated in 2021. Next is the Earth and our moon. Earth is the planet we live on, and it also has its companion, the moon, which is about 385 kilometers away, and is also the largest planet in the inner solar system. And you can see how small the sun really is if you look at this point. As you can see how small the sun really is if you can look at it at this point. So yeah, you can see the sun right there is so tiny if I look at it. What is that thing? Bennu. Dude, we can't even see the asteroid. Bennu is one of the closest near-Earth objects. It is also the only asteroid that humans have gotten samples from so far. Fun fact, if you are on its surface and you don't walk carefully enough, you might just float into space and never come back due to its low gravity. Our next object here is... what? Eros. Welcome to Eros, the closest near-Earth object to Mars. And it is famous for being shaped like a banana, being the first near-Earth object to be discovered, and for being the first asteroid that a human probe landed on and orbited around. Yeah. Mars. Your handy-dandy speed station. Okay, another one. So, Mars is the last planet in rather crowded inner solar system. Even if it is distant from the others, it is unaccompanied by Phobos and Deimos. Its two moons, which are impossible to see at this scale due to how small they are. And this is how Mars looks like.
Are you wearing stockings or socks? Or are you missing toes?
If you can see it. Ah, no, I'm going too fast. Didymos. So wait, this is the asteroid belt, is it? I think that's the asteroid belt. Welcome to Didymos, one of the few asteroids to have a moon. This is also the furthest major near-Earth object from the Sun, and its moon, Dimorphos, was the asteroid that collided with a probe in the DART mission. And from far away, we have Vesta. Welcome to the largest asteroid in the asteroid belt and the solar system, Vesta. It is so big that it actually has a crust, mantle, and core. It is also the closest major asteroid in the asteroid belt to the Sun. It was also one of the few asteroids to have a probe orbit around it. So Vesta is the largest asteroid in the asteroid belt and the solar system before Ceres. I think so, yeah. What? Oh, it's just a player. I didn't know. Eunomia. Welcome to Eunomia, the largest stony asteroid in the asteroid belt. It also has a rather chaotic orbit. Yes, that is all I have to say. At a certain point, talking about pieces of rock is a bit hard to make interesting, but we will have to go through many more before getting to Jupiter. But Jupiter's a long way too. Juno. Welcome to Juno, the asteroid that likely is the source of many meteorites that fall to Earth. It also contains 1% of the mass of the asteroid belt. It is also very bright, which is why it was the second asteroid ever discovered, even if it is only the 10th largest asteroid in the asteroid belt. Welcome to Ceres, the only dwarf planet in the asteroid belt and also the closest one to the Sun. Fun fact, it has an orbital period of 4.6 years, so it has made just shy of 1 billion orbits around the Sun in its time of existence. Also, if you're wondering why you can't see it, it is because it is not there in game. But you wouldn't be able to see it anyway if it was there because of how small it is. And this fact will apply from all objects under a radar of 700 kilometers. So Ceres is the largest asteroid, which remains the dwarf planet. And next up is Pallas. Pallas? Oh yeah, you mean Pallas. Pallas. Anyway, welcome to Pallas, the first asteroid ever discovered and second to be discovered in the asteroid belt after Ceres. It is also the second largest asteroid and it has the most cratered surface in the asteroid belt, often being described as looking like a golf ball. What? A golf ball? Wait, can you see Ceres? No, you can't even see Ceres. Yeah, and up next we have Ida. Jupiter is a long way too. Welcome to Ida, the first asteroid discovered to have a moon. While the Galileo spacecraft was headed to Jupiter, it flew by Ida and discovered its moon, Dactyl. Ida is also rich in geologic features. Psyche. Welcome to Psyche, the largest M-type asteroid. M-type asteroids are asteroids that contain more precious metals than other asteroids, and thus, Psyche's total value in US dollars is around $10 quintillion, or about 100,000 times the entire world's GDP in 2025. Psyche is the 16th largest asteroid in the entire asteroid belt. We have Interomnia. Dude, Jupiter's a long way. Welcome to Interomnia, perhaps the most neglected asteroid by the scientific community. It is the 4th largest asteroid in the solar system, but it wasn't discovered until 1910 as the 704th asteroid discovered. And yet still we don't know much about this asteroid. 52 Europa, another neglected asteroid. The only two things I can say about it are that it is the 5th largest asteroid and it has the same name as Jupiter's moon, Europa, which is why I had to put the asteroid's number in the name. Electra. Welcome to Electra, the only object in the solar system with 3 moons. It is also the asteroid with the most moons. Electra was previously thought to only have 2 moons until 2021, when a 3rd moon was announced. Wait, can you see the sun, by the way? Wow, the sun is so far away. Until we have Hygeia, the 3rd largest asteroid in the solar system. It was also only the 10th asteroid discovered due to how dark it is. Lastly, the semi-major axis is 3.1415 AU from the sun, which you may notice is the first 5 digits of pi. 67P comet. Welcome to 67P, the first comet you will see so far and the last thing before Jupiter. It is a relatively unremarkable comet, barely getting farther than Jupiter and not making it closer than Earth. Thousands of objects that are very similar to it. Its claim to fame, however, is that it was the target of the famous Rosetta mission, the first mission to land on orbit and study a comet. It is also interestingly shaped like a binky, because 2 comets slowly collided with each other and fused to make 67P. Until we have the atmosphere. Until we get into the end. I think the end of the asteroid belt. The atmosphere of the asteroid belt. So, we have the big one, Jupiter. If it took a while to get here, I warned you, I would highly suggest using one of the 3 methods of traveling faster that I gave you in the beginning of the game if you want to get anywhere further. That said, you made it to the largest planet in the solar system, Jupiter. It is accompanied by Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, which are the 4 Galilean moons. The next planet, Saturn, is around twice the distance front of the sun that you just traveled to here. So Jupiter is the largest planet. Yeah, this is the scale of Jupiter. And then we have Amalthea. And we have another handy dandy speed station. And then Io, Europa, Ganymede. You can't even see Amalthea. Amalthea is so small. except all these moons like Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. Yeah, no, nothing else. Wait. Oh, I see core. And Saturn is so far away. Wait, I have an idea. Okay. Saturn is right here. I went too fast. Welcome to the sixth planet in the solar system, Saturn! It is also accompanied by Titan, its largest moon and second largest in the solar system, and 145 other moons. Saturn has the most moons in the solar system. It also has its famous set of rings. The next planet, Uranus, is around twice the distance traveled this far. So Saturn's is about this big. You can barely see its rings. It's that small, but actually it's so big. And then the largest moon for Saturn is Titan, but you can see it right here. The closest moon from Saturn is Mimas. You can barely see it. Another handy dandy speed station. And from far away we have S/2004 S52 until we get to Uranus. So Uranus is so far away until another degree of others. What is this? Chiron. Welcome to Chiron, perhaps one of the most unusual objects in the solar system. Let's start off with the fact that it was the first centaur ever discovered. Centaurs are objects in between Jupiter and Neptune in distance from the sun that are not in the gas giants or their moon systems. And secondly, Chiron is the smallest object in the solar system to have rings. And third, Chiron is classified as both a minor planet and a comet, which also makes it the only comet in the solar system to have rings that we know about. And then, let's get back to... What the heck is that? Chariklo. Welcome to Chariklo, the largest centaur. It is a lot like Chiron in many ways, although it is not classified as a comet, and its rings are much more defined. Also, Chariklo has the most stable orbit out of all the major centaurs, and that is important because all of the centaurs are in unstable orbits that are likely to collapse in a few million years. Oh my gosh, I didn't know even that. Until we passed Halley's Comet. Undoubtedly the most famous... Welcome to Halley's Comet. Undoubtedly the most famous comet in the solar system, as it is the only comet that orbits around the sun in less than 200 years, and it is visible to the naked eye when closest to the sun. It famously appeared in 1986 when it was at its closest point to the sun, and is expected to come back in 2061. You may not know this, but most comets' orbits, like this one, are extremely elongated. For example, Halley's Comet, where you are, is simply the average between the closest and farthest the comet is from the sun, or the semi-major axis. Until we got to Uranus. Uranus. Dude, Uranus is so small. Another handy dandy speed. Welcome to the seventh planet from the sun, Uranus planet, Roblox moderation Please don't hurt me. It has 5 major moons, but only 2 are big enough to see. Which are Titania and Oberon. The planet has 28 moons in total. It is also the coldest planet in the solar system and the least massive gas planet in the solar system. So Uranus has 2 largest moons, Titania and Oberon. You can barely see Titania, and you can barely see Oberon. And from far away we have Ferdinand. Yeah, that's what I saw. And then you get back all the way far away to Neptune. Basically, that's not it so far. And you can see how far the sun is. And we can't see. Wait. No others. Thank you. Until we made it to Neptune. And then we got Neptune. Handy dandy speed station once again. Oh no. I slowed down my speed. Okay. And here is Neptune look like. With Proteus and Triton. The largest moon from Neptune. Okay. You have made it to the last planet in the solar system, Neptune. It is the smallest gas planet, only accompanied by 1 major moon, Triton, along with 15 others. The only object after Neptune are dwarf planets and asteroids in the Kuiper Belt and scattered disk. So congratulations for making it this far. Oh no! Wait, get back. Okay, this is Proteus and Triton from Neptune. And then we have Nereid. Not the farthest, but from far away we have S/2021 and 1. Oh my gosh. Dude, I was about to breathe for some reason. And then it's still not it, guys. Until we made it to something unreal. Dude, you can't even see Neptune anymore. Look at this. Yo, it's so far away. Wait, is that Pluto? Ain't no way that's Pluto. And other dwarf planets. Orcus, and Vanth. Dude, you can't even see Orcus. Orcus is so small. Welcome to Orcus, the first major object in the Kuiper Belt, along with the second dwarf planet from the Sun. Orcus is often called the anti-Pluto because it is constantly on the other side of its orbit from Pluto. And then we have Pluto and Lumpo. Welcome to Pluto, arguably the most famous object in the Kuiper Belt and extremely close to Lumpo. It has 5 moons, including Charon, which is the largest moon and around half the size of Pluto. And it is so large that Pluto and Charon are actually in a binary system. It is also the largest trans-Neptunian object and dwarf planet, just larger than Eris. Yeah, by the way, we have Charon. Yo, you can see Pluto! Pluto is right here. And welcome to Limpo. Or 47,171 Limpo. It is officially named the only trinary bodies that will be featured in the game, and also the only major trinary system in the Kuiper Belt. You may have noticed that it wasn't a very long walk from Orcus, and that is because this area of the Kuiper Belt is extremely dense with objects. However, it won't stay that way forever. Until we got to Ixion. Ugh! Welcome to Ixion, the first major object after Pluto. It has a rather chaotic orbit, a magentian color, and scientists thought that it was much bigger than it actually was when it was discovered. I don't have much else to say. Until we got to another one, which is what? Manny 2002 MS4. Welcome to what was once the largest unnamed object in the solar system, as it was named Manny in June 2025. It also has extremely jagged terrain, 70 kilometers down from the highest peak to the lowest valley, and a dark gray color. Again, not much else to say. You can see how far the sun is. It's so far away. And then we have 2004 GV9 and Salacia. Salacia is so far away, guys. Welcome to 2004 GV9. One of the largest unnamed objects in the solar system. The only other thing to say about this object was that it was one of the first to be photographed with images of it predating to 1954 before it was even discovered. Salacia, one of the darkest TNOs. It and its moons are the tightest knit TNO system with a hell spear to semi-major axis of the moon at 0.0023. The moon, Actia, is also the same color as Salacia. We can't even see Salacia. And then we have 2002 UX25, the lowest density TNO. In fact, it is less dense than water. It is also one of the largest unnamed objects in the solar system and has a moon. Nothing else to say. And then we have Varuna, the closest ellipsoid to the sun. Due to its rotation period at around 6 hours, it is shaped like an ellipsoid rather than a sphere. It is also theorized to have a moon, even if we can't quite see it, and it has density just less than water. Until we made it to Haumea. Yo, wait. Okay, guys, let me be right back. Wait. What happened?
Don't go next one.
This one?
No. Just don't look at the video.
What video? No.
Caesar.
Don't watch it!
I wasn't watching it, Caesar.
Okay. I'm just kidding. And then we have Haumea. Namaka and Hayaka. They're the two moons from Haumea's system. The largest ellipsoid in the solar system. It has a rotation period of 3.9 hours that gives it that shape. It's also the third largest TNO and has 2 moons. It also has a density that is around twice the usual density of a TNO and is made out of mostly rock instead of ice. And then we have Quaoar. Welcome to Quaoar, the second largest ellipsoid in the solar system. Quaoar also is one of 2 TNOs to have a ring system. And it has a moon. It is shaped similarly to an egg. Quaoar is also terrorized to have an incredibly small methane atmosphere with a density 100 million times less than Earth. And then far away we have Arrokoth, the most well-known asteroid in the Kuiper Belt. It was picked as the next target for the New Horizons mission after Pluto, and it flew by aerocraft on 1st of January 2019. That is why we know it so well. Well, we think that it may be the cause of 2 smaller asteroids that were once in a binary colliding at low speed due to it being shaped like a peanut. Yeah, I hate peanuts too. And then we have Make. Yo, you can barely see Make. Make is grayer than Mercury. And you can't even see MP2. You can't even see it. The 4th largest TNO in the solar system. It has a chance of having a subsurface ocean. Its orbit is extremely tilted from the ecliptic around 30 degrees. And there really isn't much else to say, even if it is one of the largest TNOs. Ah! I went too fast. Varda. Perhaps the least interesting object so far. The only things I could find about it are that is the TNO with the lowest albedo, and exactly 2 years after its discovery, first private manned space flight happened. Until we got there. Wait, I got too far. No, I went too far. Wait, anyway. Another handy dandy speed station to 2002 AW197. Welcome to 2002 AW197. One of the largest unnamed objects in the solar system, it is also very close to the Kuiper Belt cliff, the border between the Kuiper Belt and the scattered disk, and is one of the few objects in the Kuiper Belt. It's not a resonance with Neptune. Oh my gosh. My breathing hurts. It's so bad. Oh my gosh, I'm getting far, far, far away from it. I'm going so far away. No. Wait, I forgot. Oh. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yo, it's so far away. We can't even see nothing. Dude, you can't even. Oh, wait. Yo, guys, I see a line. What's it called? Yeah, I just went too fast. And then it's called Lilia Kuhona, the Goblin. At its closest distance to the sun, in reality, its semi-major axis is around 1,000 astronomical units, making it on average the farthest major object from the sun by far, and major object with the longest orbit period. The last time it was in the position it isn't today. The Neanderthals were going extinct, which was 40,000 years ago. On a less serious note, the object was nicknamed the Goblin shortly after discovery because of the letters TG in the designation and discovery date near Halloween. And we have another 2 mines. We have Gong Gong and Shanglayu. The first major object in the scattered disk and extremely far from the sun. In fact, the last time it was in the position was during 2015. The new world hadn't yet been discovered. Even if it is far out, we were about to find a bird around it. And we have Iris Dysnomia, another handy dandy speed station. Welcome to Eris, the second most distant dwarf planet from the sun. It is also the second largest dwarf planet. It is also the most massive dwarf planet, and it has a moon called Dysnomia. It is also the most famous scattered disk object, and even with its distance from the sun, it's rather bright. And then we go far, 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 far out. And then we got to the next object, which is so far away. Wait, I see another line. What's it called? 2020 BE 102. One of the large. No. I'm sorry. It is one of the most distant objects from the sun that we know of. Yet its orbit is rather close to the ecliptic, unlike many other far out objects. Also, the object was discovered exactly 172 years after the Californian gold rush began, until another line came out, and another handy-dandy speed station to Setna. Setna is a very far planet, which is known from Setna to Sun. Dude, we're almost at the end. Welcome to Setna. At its closest point to the sun, its semi-major axis is at around 500 astronomical units. This makes it the major orbit with the second farthest distance from the sun on average. It also makes it the major object with the second longest orbital period in the solar system. If only the Goblin meeting Setna in both metrics. You traveled an incredibly far distance to get here, so congratulations for making it. Whoa, what's happening to my breath? Another line! What? It's going on forever! Until we got to the Great Comet of 1843. This comet became famous for passing only 800,000 kilometers from the sun in 1843, which was the closest ever seen by any object at the time. Also, after that close approach to the sun, it got an extremely long tail, which was over 2 times the distance from the Earth to the sun long, and it was the longest comet tail ever recorded until 1996. Another line. How long is it? Comet Lovejoy. What's happening to my breath? What's happening to my breath? Anyways, 38 minutes until we got to Comet Lovejoy, or more specifically, C/2011 W3. It's famous for passing incredibly close to the sun. In 2011, when it last got to its closest point to the sun, it was only 140,000 kilometers above the solar system surface and traveling at 1.2 million miles per hour, or almost 2 million kilometers per hour. Many people didn't even expect it to come out in one piece. Somehow it did. Oh, this game took forever. Until we got to 2018 AG37, which is known as Far Out. Welcome to 2018 AG37, or Far Out. This object was discovered on the same day of the year that Wikipedia was founded, January 15. We currently think that the Far Out is between 400 and 800 kilometers in diameter, making it large enough to be a dwarf planet, and around the same size as Far Out. Also, we still aren't quite sure about the nature of Far Out's orbit yet, because we have only able to observe it for a few years. the object is extremely dark and far out orbit time is extremely long, around 700 years. 2012 VP 113 Biden. Welcome to 2012 VP 113 at its closest point to the sun, or Biden as it's nicknamed. The reason why it got that nickname was because it has the letters VP in its designation, which could stand for Vice President, and Joe Biden was the Vice President of the United States when the object was discovered. Also, Biden was discovered on November 5th, the same day that Honduras got its independence. And finally, this object is the Centenoid with the furthest perihelion from the sun. Perihelion means the closest point to a parent object in an object's orbit. Until we got to 2018 VG118, which is known as 4 out, which is interestingly named far out, even if its semi-major axis is the further from the sun than far out. Two objects named like this because at the time of their discoveries, far out was farther than the sun than far out. Also, far out interestingly has a pinkish ton of color. And the object was discovered the day before Veterans Day in the United States, or for non-Americans, the anniversary World War I ending. And there are more of them, and another line has discovered until we got to the Great Comet of 1882B. That's crazy. Welcome to the Great Comet of 1882B. You may be wondering why the name has a B at the end. And that is because the last time the comet passed by the sun in 1882, it broke into several pieces, this being one of them. This comet is famous for being an incredibly bright comet, as even during the daytime, you could see the comet next to the sun many hours before and its closest pass to the sun. Dude, we're almost at the force. Until we passed to the termination shock. The termination shock is the point from the sun where solar wind slows down in less than 1/4 of the speed had been going, which the speed of the sun sound for them, which is 100 kilometers per second in deep space. This barrier is also made by the solar wind particles going below the speed of sound. And because of how many of them there are, this point is beginning of the end of the traditional solar system and is at 89 astronomical units from the sun, or the average of the two distances that the Voyager probes encountered it at. Then we're going far away to the Alpha Centauri system. Ikaea Secchi A. Welcome to Ikaea Secchi A, a comet. You may be wondering why there is an A at the end of the name. And that is because of the last time the comet came close to the sun, it broke apart, and this is one of the leftover pieces. When Ikaea Secchi passed by the sun in 1965, it came only 450,000 kilometers over the solar surface, and it was so bright that it could be seen during the day. Now its pieces are going beyond the reaches of the traditional solar systems until we got to the Alpha Centauri system. until it's far, far out there. Where's the Oort cloud? C/1983H1. Welcome to Comet C/1983H1, which is famous for passing less than 5 million kilometers from Earth in 1983. When it passed by, it appeared as a circular cloud the size of the full moon, and this comet orbits the sun only once every 970 years. Until 45 minutes of recording system. But it's not it yet, cause it's so long. Yo, how long is it? Look out the distance the sun looks like. The sun is so far away. Dude, we can't even see the sun. It's so far away. (2014) UZ224 DD. What's a DD? I guess you are quite shocked to find an object this far out after so much travel, but welcome to 2014 UZ224 or DD. It was given that nickname to stand for distant dwarf, and the last time it was in its current position in its orbit, William the Conqueror had not been born yet. Yeah. Wait, William the Conqueror? What? That's how it pronounces yet? William the Conqueror. Oh, William the Conqueror. William the Conqueror. Yeah. I know we're going to say that. I don't know where the edge of the orbit. Where is the edge of the orbit? Is it this one? I might be correct. Here we go with another handy dandy speed station. Heliopause. Oh yeah, that's it. Welcome to the end of the traditional solar system, the heliopause. This is where solar wind from the sun has gotten weak enough to where the galactic radiation has the same pressure as it, and so solar wind stops here. This may be the end of the traditional solar system, but it is not the end of the game or the actual solar system, as there are still objects orbiting the sun and influenced by the sun's gravity beyond here. However, it is still impressive that you can have made a traveler. Congratulations! But it's not it yet, because there's so many of them! Oh wow, it's so far away. 48 minutes already. Until we got to the end of the edge to the universe. Some university? Okay, it's not a joke. It's not a joke, I'm sorry. Until we got to the end to the universe. Wow, it's so far away. We can't even see anything. What the heck? Dude, we can barely see the heliopause right here. Oh, it's so far away. Oh no, wait, I can see a line. I see a line. What the heck? I see a line. 49 minutes already. Until we got Comet Bennett. What? What's that? Welcome to Comet Bennett. One of the farthest objects in the game, was famous for being one of the brightest comets in the 20th century and the first to be observed by astronauts in space. Another interesting fact, it spends more time out of the traditional solar system inside it. Until we got to far, 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 far out. It's gonna take forever. It's gonna take forever. No! Oh, never mind. I see a line. What the heck? I see a line. What did I just see? Until we got to Comet Donati. Well, the last object you will encounter before the end of the game. So congratulations for getting here. Anyway, in the few months before and after Comet Donati got close to the sun in 1858, it was the second brightest comet seen in the 1800s, and it was reportedly also one of the most beautiful comets ever observed. Also, it was importantly the first comet ever to be photographed. What the heck? Oh, we're going far, far out already. Only 50 minutes already! It's so long! No way. Oh, man. How long is it going to be? Oh, no, no! Wait, that's the end. What the frick? That's the end. What the frick? What the frick? I feel like that's the end. Congratulations, I got to the end. How long is it? How long is the recording? I'll never know. Hello, adventurer! You have traveled an incredibly far distance from the sun. Or 26 billion kilometers. That is just less than 26.2 billion kilometers. Congratulations for getting here, and I hope you enjoyed my game. This is also the end of the game. Thank you for playing. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more information. So, peace out. So, okay. The recording of that time is 52 minutes already. So, goodbye.